everyone, and welcome back to Sunday Reads with Renee here at Simply Renee. My name is Renee. Today I'm doing a double book review of The Kitchen Front by Jennifer Ryan and Dear Mrs. Bird by AJ Pearce. And these are two books that take place in the 1940s World War II, situated in the United Kingdom, so they are historical fiction novels I'll be reviewing. Normally what I do is that I have a rotation in my Sunday Read section where one week I do a double book review, the following week I do something different that is not a review, sometimes a recommendation, a ranking, or a different topic. The following week I do a double book review, and then the next week I do a different topic as well, and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, the one I had planned for this week has a little bit more editing to do, and so I decided to mix things up a little by giving you a double book review, and I hope you will enjoy this. Before I begin, I will be using alternative words and phrases due to YouTube rules and regulations, and I will be revealing plot details, therefore spoilers are ahead. First one is Dear Mrs. Bird by AJ Pearce, a 2018 published historical fiction novel that takes place in World War II in the 1940s United Kingdom. Emmy Lake is a young woman who really wants to be a journalist, but especially a war correspondent. She really feels that that's where her skill set lies in, and she really wants to help the war effort in that way. But unfortunately, due to the limitations of the time, as well as other factors, she's unable to really fulfill that goal and that wish. The only job she can find in the journalistic effort that also helps the war effort is by taking on a position as a writer for the Woman's Friend magazine, which is run by a woman named Mrs. Bird, who is a little bit elderly and has a certain set of values that are more of the traditional mindset compared to the 1940s values that Emmy does see. Now, Emmy does take this job and she begins getting these letters that she's supposed to be responding to as part of an advice column for readers who are coming into the magazine, really want to get advice from Mrs. Bird. And as Emmy starts to read them, she starts to notice that some of these letters are not always just, about relationships or cooking and such like that. Some of them are very hard reads where readers are really looking for advice because they're so affected by everything going on with the war and the nightly air raids and the effects it's taking on them, especially with PTSD and the dangers ahead. And Emmy is really connected to this because she desperately wants to give these people very good advice, or the best advice she can for them in the lives that they're getting affected by this war, because she's also experiencing it as well. She's having those ups and downs. She's concerned about the nightly air raids. She has a best friend named Bunty who's also very concerned about it and dealing with some relationship issues and concerns about war as well. And so that really does affect Emmy in a lot of different ways. And as a result, she decides to really respond to these readers, because even though Mrs. Bird says, no, we can't have any of these distressing letters here. We need to really have your chin up, stiff upper lift, give people a good feel for everything. But Emmy doesn't see it that way. She really wants to focus on the fact that what war takes a toll on everybody and how she can really help these people in the best way possible. This is a very short historical fiction novel in some regards. I do think it is a very well-written one that really gets into the psyche and character development of people who get affected by war, especially with these nightly air raids that were really pummeling the city of London every night because of everything going on with the war, and also the effects of war and how that's affecting everybody in the United Kingdom at that time. And I really thought it was an interesting read to really give that perspective to it, because we often think of PTSD as part of being on the battlefield, understandably, but we don't really think about it beyond other things, such as the medical way, the people on the home front and such, because there was that whole thing about stiff upper lift, keep calm, carry on. And those are good things to have if you want to be a strong leader and try to morale everybody to keep optimism going, even with all the dangers ahead. But at the same time, I think it's okay to really acknowledge that, yeah, we're having a lot of problems and mental health issues, and a lot of things are affecting our lives in so many ways. And we really want to find support and advice. And that's what Emmy really tries to do with her advice column. And it doesn't always go well. So there are some things that come along the way in this book that really make her affect, like, what am I really doing to do this when I can't really express it and it's not really helping anyone, or is it helping anyone? So Dear Mrs. Bird really addresses this, and we get to a point at the end of the novel where it shows a little bit of that optimism, but it also really has the consequence, because she is writing and publishing these letters in the magazine in secret without the knowledge of her supervisor, which isn't a great thing, even though it's with good intentions. But I do think it gets to a good conclusion, even though there's a lot of tragedy to it. So Dear Mrs. Bird is one I recommend, but be forewarned there are some triggering topics to it. The next one is The Kitchen Front by Jennifer Ryan. This is a 2021 published historical fiction novel that focuses on four women grappling with World War II in Britain and really trying to find an opportunity for themselves thanks to a cooking competition that focuses on food rationings and how to make delicious meals from them. In the midst of 1940s, war is still raging on in Britain and everyone's just trying to get by. And one of the things that's hitting a lot of people is food rationing. Food rationing is a very big deal. They're trying to really keep the food going, but they're also trying to really ration the food for the war effort. And four women really grapple with that in different ways. There are four women who are listening to a radio program called The Kitchen Front, which is a program designed to focus on food as well as food rationing and how to make these delicious meals. And when they have a contest for any woman to join the competition to decide who can be the first female co-host of the radio program, four women really jump at the chance. One is a woman named Audrey, who is the mother of three children, who's really trying to survive war as she's keeping the house afloat, her kids afloat. She's also trying to start a side business with some baked goods so she can bring in extra money while her husband's away at war. She has a sister named Gwendolyn who is married to a wealthy man, and she's trying to be a social climber, but she wants to take this cooking competition to the next level to prove that she's more than just a social climber. We have a woman named Zelda who is an elite chef hiding a secret and sees this competition as a way for her to have some more independence and gain opportunity. And then there's a young woman named Nell who is a kitchen maid for Gwendolyn, and she really wants this as an opportunity for herself too. And so these four women have different reasons for why they're joining this cooking competition, and the book really focuses a lot on their introspective perspectives to really show what drives them as well as what's happening in their personal lives, their psyche, and what they're going through, even with some backstory. I did think The Kitchen Front was an overall good book. I thought it was interesting that the author really put these different types of recipes in play that show up in each chapter and each perspective to really show what kind of these recipes were in the food rationing, just to make things like soups, baked goods, and such, anything they could to try and just survive off these food rationings as much as you can. And this is an interesting one in some regards because you get to see the multi perspectives of four different women here in this book and what they're going through at that time. But I do think that's one of the things that does affect this book is that it goes on longer than it should. At certain points, it feels like it's a little bit too much of a slow burn, which can be a benefit and sometimes not. So I do think there could have been a little bit of a shortened amount with it, but I do think it is an interesting read in a lot of ways because it does focus on the effects of war on the home front, food rationing, these women really trying to get by but also seek an opportunity where they can. And they're really just trying to do all of that as well as survive the war, what that does to affect them and their lives, and how they also gravitate to each other throughout the novel to really try and give each other support, but also where they go from there. So I do think it's an interesting read overall, and I hope you will pick it up to read it yourself. And this concludes my double book review of The Kitchen Front by Jennifer Ryan and Dear Mrs. Bird by AJ Pearce. And now tell me what you think. Do you agree with me, not agree with me? Have you read these books? Do you have others that you want to recommend that are of a similar nature? Please let me know in the comments section below. I welcome all discussions as always. I thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like to get an update on my summer reads 2026 and just my basic reactions to them, I'll leave links down in the YouTube shorts for that, and you can find them and get a basic reaction of what I'm thinking about them at the moment. I will be continuing on with my summer reads this month, and I'm going to be doing a lot of reading this month. And I'm also going to be bringing you more content as well with my Sunday Reads section, where I'm going to come back with an actual topic video that I had planned today, but with a little more editing, I'll be able to finish it for next week. Then I'll bring another double review the following week, this time with nonfiction. I'll bring another topic one, and then by the end of the month, I'll be able to give you a full review of all the books I've read so far during the summer 2026. But you can also see my other content as well through YouTube Shorts, a Food Friday video this Friday, and another random video this Wednesday as well. I thank you again so much for tuning in. Please be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Bye.